Hey guys, Zen here, and welcome back to the channel. Today is a bit of a mixed bag of a video, if I'm honest. So Ember is here with 2 new operators, a new map, and a ton of changes that have made a huge difference in how to be at the top of the meta here in Rainbow Six Siege. So this video is for you guys. We're gonna go over some early tips and impressions of each of the new operators in the game. There's some news updates to speak on, and of course, there's always thoughts to keep things balanced. Guys, I've been playing non-stop, and I'm excited to share with you what we've got, so I'm ready. Let's get into this. Now, I wanted to start off by helping some of you to be more successful with the 2 new operators, Goyo and Amaru, because after playing them non-stop since release, there's a few quirks and nuances that we should all be aware of, and I'm going to share them with you, well, right after this. Oh my god!
Oh my god, what a maniac.
So guys, really quick, I want to tell you guys about this video's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Now, if you enjoy mobile games, Raid Shadow Legends is one of the most ambitious RPG projects that's been released this year, and it's 100% free to download and start playing right now. It's packed with RPG features like an amazing storyline, awesome animations and 3D graphics, big boss fights, and hundreds of champions to collect and customize. And for you competitive players, there's also PvP battles. Now, when I first logged in, I was kind of taken back. I mean, look at the details on these champions, guys. This is a mobile game. Now, my favorite character is Elhain, the high elf. She uses what's called the Valley of Death to rain down damage on every foe in the battle, and it's a little OP, I'm not gonna lie. The voice acting in the game is surprisingly good and done really well throughout, which I could imagine took some effort here. Now, already over 10 million players have downloaded the game worldwide in just 6 months, and with the developers' planned roadmap, there's plenty of content to look forward to in the future. So guys, click the special link in the description to download Raid Shadow Legends and get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program. I've really enjoyed my time with it, really impressed with its high production values, guys, and with over 300,000 reviews, it's maintained an almost perfect score. So if you're interested, check it out, and thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring the video. So let's start this off with Amaru, the new attacker here in Siege, and the first thing you should know about her is that picking an effective loadout for her is tough. Before her release, I think generally in the community, the recommendation was to bring one of her shotgun options. Of course, to open up hatches if you need to grapple up through them, and honestly, yes, this really isn't a poor choice. But guys, I'm on the other side of the fence, out with the rebels, if you will, because when I play Amaru, I've gotten accustomed to not bringing any shotgun and to run the G8 and the SMG11. The reasoning is simple. After playing her, I see Amaru as an entry fragger and one who can be in the map and on site even quicker than some 3-speed ops. So for me, it's about having the firepower to deal with that scenario. And to be honest with you guys, out of all the ranked games I've played, I've never come into a situation where I needed to open up a hatch and try to escape through it. Now, on a side note, and maybe actually the most important thing here, there's this delay after Amaru comes through a window, specifically where she just stands completely still. Now, I'm not sure if this second or so of delay is for balancing or not, but it just feels like she's loading into the area she landed, and it's caused multiple deaths almost each time it's happened. If you guys use Amaru a lot and try out her Gata hook on Windows, you'll notice this about her, and it feels like it should be smoother. Beyond whatever bugs she may have, I think Amaru is actually pretty niche, at least when it comes to her gadget. Kind of like Warden, where the best times to use the gadget come from the perfect opportunities that have to line up, and then yeah, she's great. But again, like Warden, those opportunities can be rare, and you may even find that using her gadget can lead to death if you haven't thoroughly droned it out or if the noise you make alarms defenders. So personally, I think Amaru needs a better ability to escape with the hook, because once you're inside the map, there's almost nothing extra she brings to herself or the team other than her decent weapons. TLDR, outside she's fast, but you probably knew that already. Inside she's underwhelming, and you knew that already, but something you might not have known is that not bringing a shotgun is okay, and the G8 with the vertical grip is the way to go, at least in my opinion. Now next up we have Goyo, and this operator, at least for me, has been game changing. He's one of those operators that makes every second matter for the attackers, kind of like Echo, because once it's late round and it's time to get a plant down, if there's a Vulcan shield in between you and getting it down, if a defender pops it, you'll be stalled for 10 seconds or until the fire burns out before you can make a move, and this this has been checkmate a few times in my experience. For me, the biggest and maybe the most obvious call out for Goyo is that at its core, the Vulcan is a bomb first and a deployable second, and when you're setting it up, you should take this into consideration. If you get too close to it while you're trying to use it as a shield, you're putting yourself at risk, and unlike a regular shield, it won't save you from a frag grenade. It'll instead instantly kill you between both blasts if you're too close. So tip number one is to be a little abstract with Goyo and place the Vulcan in places where, sure, it can be used as an effective shield, but ultimately you want it in places that gives defense the advantage if and when it goes off as a bomb. On Chalet, for example, instead of placing it in the doorway to the small closet, place it right in front of the snowmobile and burn out any pushing attacker that gets through the garage. Now, for his loadout, even though as a Kaid main myself, I do love the TCSG and its ACOG, especially on a 2-speed operator, having the Vector on an operator that's better built to roam is amazing, and I haven't really had any rounds where I missed the TCSG much. There's always breach potential because it is a shotgun, but Goyo has access to both impacts and a C4, so without it, he still gets the job done. I equipped the Vector with the hollow sight and a flash hider to keep the recoil consistent, and well guys, I'd rather show you. Check him out.
Located a bomb. You know what to do.
Down the hall, mute.
Oh, right there. He's on highway.
Let's go. So yeah, he's just balanced, and if I had anything else to say about Goyo, I'd recommend waiting to pick him up until you have solid knowledge of all of the maps in the game. He's in that category of operators that can actually hurt your team and even potentially kill teammates if his shields are placed in the wrong areas, and good map knowledge is the best advantage in your favor here. So new guys, let's get acquainted first, shall we? Moving on, I wanted to quickly glance over Canal, because honestly, and I'm just speaking from the heart here guys, I'm not a big fan of the map. To get to the point, it just feels cluttered now, and again, it really does remind me of Tower with a lot of rooms and hallways. It feels a bit like a maze at times. Now, I do realize that this map is actually simple in its design, but I'm just not comfortable yet, so take that as you will. Now, I solo queue a lot, and I'm constantly hearing the same criticisms of the map, and one of the biggest is actually the size. Canal is huge now. I mean, it was always a pretty big map, but here with the rework, there's just so many places to be at once, and roaming can feel like a chug getting back to the objective if you get a pick far off sight. So guys, I don't want to sound like I'm nitpicking here, but for me, this is the weakest of the reworks, and yes, this includes Hereford. But this is just one player's opinion, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who now love the map, and I'm open to any feedback you may have. But now I want to talk about the game changers in the season, with the biggest one being the new 7-second timer to either plant or defuse the bomb. Ranked feels so different now, and I'm finding, even while solo queuing, that the plant is becoming much more cooperative, and I think most teams understand how much more difficult 2 seconds really makes things. On defense, it makes getting to the diffuser much more intense because rounds have happened where last season it would have ended in a defused bomb and a clutch moment, but here in Ember Rise, it's a loss because too much time was spent finishing off the attackers. I think it's pretty obvious that a year from now, this will just be the game and no one will really say anything about it, but being here just one season after the change, it really has made a difference. The other game changer this season is actually the ranked 1000 MMR gap. So if you're unaware, if you and a buddy are more than 1000 ELO apart, you will not be able to queue up and rank together, which basically means that a platinum can never play with a silver, and in some higher cases, even golds. So I know some teams have that buddy that kind of trails off and doesn't always keep up to date in ranked, and yeah, you won't be able to play ranked with them until they do, but it's a good thing for the game because then that player can build up with people of similar skill and organically reach your status because man, you're awesome. So my overall thoughts are that, yeah, this season is definitely an improvement over last season, and so far, I'm having a ton of fun. Amaru is really a fun operator, and hey, maybe that's exactly why she was added to the game. Ubisoft have admitted to not changing Tachanka because of his status in the game, so maybe not every op is always designed to be super sweaty and top of the meta. Goyo, however, is the exact opposite, and I think is well balanced for the meta today, and is up there with some of the greats like Mira and Maestro. intro. Now, guys, as far as news, it's a little light, but if you haven't seen it yet, Ubisoft dropped a new trailer for Ember Rise, and it shows Amaru and Goyo just hanging out and chatting up a story. It's awesome, and I can't help but wonder, where is this for Warden and Nog? Now, I think content like this, and even things like the hammer and the scalpel CGI trailer, are really important for a game all about its operators, and even though it's short, it's worth it. So hopefully the devs aren't afraid to revisit some older ops that didn't get this same treatment in the past. They've already updated the bios of some of the older operators in the game, and so taking a step further and releasing trailers or skits of what they're up to now could be an interesting way to build upon their story. But again, that is just my 2 cents. But guys, that's it. This video was kind of everywhere, but I want to hear from you. Have you tried either of the 2 new operators in Rainbow Six Siege? And naturally, what are your thoughts? Leave everything in a comment down below. If you did enjoy this video, please drop a like and subscribe with notifications if you're new. With that being said, it's been Zen. Hey, I'm out.